I have one more thing that I'd like to kind of have Shawndel share, just her impressions, thoughts. Again, talking about masculinity and John Brown. I know that, and we talk about the fact that he was a very sensitive father. I know some of the comments I saw flashing talked about his concern for his education of his daughters, and so much could be said. His ability to cook, his ability to do like surgeries and things like that. How would you define him in that regard when you look at him from your vantage point as a psychologist and how you reflect on masculinity? Um, is there a way that you would kind of describe him if you were going to do a profile?
His approach to masculinity is at the root of how I look at masculinity in my work. And so the knowledge of various craft and trade, is not craft and trade is not necessarily just the making, building, and fixing of things. It's in service to humans over time. And so being a person of service and using the strength, wherewithal, knowledge that he has to uplift, house, protect, nurture, and nourish others. That for me is a definition of masculinity. And I find that our culture doesn't always see the ways that men are loving. And so as humanity tries to kind of balance out how we understand everyone and everything, we've gone to this perspective where we see men and stoicism, which we've inherited from many conquering cultures before this empire existed. We neglect the doingness as a signal of devotion and love, that attention to detail, the willingness to put your whole body into any action, whether it's cooking for your raiders before you all make the ultimate sacrifice, though hoping to not have to make that big of a sacrifice, to nurturing your children to a degree that they're willing to follow you, male and female children both, that your wives, say yes to this different type of a life, right? That Mary, even though he wrote those letters that were like, no, don't come, and then later, yes, do come, wanted to be by his side, right? Speaks to, she wasn't thrilled that he was gone, right? If he had been an unloving, ungentle man when, he was murdered, she would have been like, ooh. But instead she took herself through transportation of the 1850s to Virginia, hostile territory where they wanted to do terrible things to his body, to bring him back home according to his last wishes.
Yeah.
That devotion, right, which we're very easily able to recognize devotion, caring, tenderness in women and femme people, but clearly in the way that he lived his life, that people would follow him to what would be their death, risk their body to gain his body, speaks to a masculinity that is above, like, is paramount. How many people know men today that they would do those things for?
Yeah, yeah, that's very good, very good. Well, thank you.